Hey, hi, Akhil.
Hello, hi. Isha. No one is joined yet?
Yes, yes. No one has joined yet.
Okay, let's wait for some time.
Okay, I will wait for another 1 or 2 minutes, and I think it would be better to start the session. There are two participants, Pratiksha and Srikant. So the session can be started with them, and then if some other participants are joining in between, then that is fine. Subhasri, let me start the sessions. I'm seeing just only one person is there, Pratiksha. So let me start with the session with her. What do you suggest?
Yeah, okay, Usha. That's good.
Yes.
Hello.
So yeah, I was actually checking with Subhasri also.
Okay.
Is there?
All all of those are from Info only.
I have no much idea on that part. Means the participants' background detail I don't have. But actually, I have Subhasri also over here. Like Akhil
Okay.
was also here. They are from Hill Marathon side. So I was just checking with them. Okay, no problem. So there is also Srikanth. So I can start the session with them. Okay. Okay, let me share my screen. Let me know once you people are able to see my screen. Yesterday I had given some assignment. I hope you people must have done that, right? Can I get any response? Pratiksha, Srikanth? Yes, no, anything? I'm fine with anything. Any response?
Ma'am, I was not there in session yesterday.
Yesterday, okay, we missed the
Yes.
session. Okay, then Srikanth,
So
I would, okay.
yeah,
Okay, so do
I
one thing like go through the previous
hello.
session. Yeah, Pratiksha, go ahead.
I'm currently out of office, so that's the reason actually I am out of station. But
Okay,
I'm trying to get the station. But yeah, once we'll be back with that, we'll complete the assignment.
okay. So no issues. So do one thing like at least in the weekend try to spend some time in your learning, okay?
Yeah.
With your learning and assignment, whatever has been given, do that, okay? And today I'm going to provide you some more knowledge on the different other API request
Okay.
type, right?
Okay. Yes.
So we know that the request methods are get type, post type, put type, fetch type, and delete type, right? So yesterday actually we have designed this two API, right? We have what we were doing. Just to recap, I'm giving. We were actually uh, creating some API for a social network website or for a social network application. Okay. The social means for a social network mobile application or for a website, the backend is nothing but the REST API, isn't it? For every interface, whether it is a mobile interface or it is a browser interface, whatever the interface may be, or a desktop app interface, for all kind of interface, who is the backend? The backend is the API. I hope you this thing you people are clear, right? By now you must have got this clarity. Am I correct?
Yeah. Yes. Usha.
And Shrikant, see the thing is that this course is entirely about the backend engineering. That's why by now I hope you must have the clarity that the backend for any interface, the backend is your REST API, and for REST API, the best technology is Spring Boot. And which module we are using for making all these API? REST API. The REST module of Spring Boot we are using for making the API. Okay. So for social network, for the say social network, since Java is a object oriented language, right? For social and it is a domain based. For social network domain, what all object key object we have identified? We have identified two objects. One is user object and other is post. Each user they need to log in, they need to register themselves. These are the information they have to give like ID, the name, the birth date, their city, their profession, their educational qualification. Okay, so some information they will give there. Okay, so that is why user is one of the key object, key key object. Okay, and these are the information to be registered by the user. So this for social network, we have identified user object, and one more object is post. Post means post is used by whom? User. User only post some information or post their story, right? So all the post, it comes from the user. So two important objects we have identified, that is user and post. So once we have identified the object, the step one is for any of the backend, okay, for any of the interface, what is the domain, and for that domain, what all the object we have to identify. So the domain now we have identified as user and post, and for that user, we have to identify what all API are required. So we know that we need to know who all are users. Means suppose I am a user, I have logged in, right? So I must have some followers, or I must be following people like that, right? So all the users who are like mapped to me, I should retrieve all the users. So I should have API for this, get API users. Then I should have this API. Means if I want to retrieve only one user information, right? When suppose you are in Facebook, or if you are in some other social network, you want to know somebody, you can came across some name and you want to know about that person, then what you do, you click on that, and then information about that person gets displayed. Okay, so that means you are retrieving one user. So till this two API we are already done with that, and today we are going to create user. So when you are registering yourself, right, you are creating yourself as a user, you are creating a user. So post, for creating one user, the request method is post. So how that is to be done, that I am going to explain you now. Okay. Okay, yesterday we had that user object, right? This is a user object. Now what I am going to do here in the user controller, first of all, in the DAO service, I have to, this is my repository, user DAO service is my repository. Here I am creating the user list, right? So what I will do, I will create the user. So what I will do, I don't have database right now. What I am doing, I don't have database. Database is the next step. We'll go to the next step later. Maybe next week we will go to that step. So just a recap I am giving you. For the time being, what I am doing, I am creating a list of user and adding this user in the list. Okay. So this service, this is user DAO service, which I have annotated as component, so that my REST application, my REST web service application can, the SpringBoot application can scan this user DAO service, which is annotated as component, that will be created as soon as the server gets started, as soon as the Spring engine, the Spring container gets started, this bean will be automatically created. Okay, this bean will be automatically created by the engine, and it will create the user list. This list it will create. And I will have one method over here. Suppose I'll have one method over here, create user. Method is returning string. I'll have a method create user, and this method input parameter is user. So what this method will do, this method in this DAO service, the create user method will just add the user into my database. Currently, this user list is my database. This user list is my database. So I'm just adding the user. That's all. This is my what I'm doing in the add user service. This user DAO service is just adding the user. Okay. And once the user is added, what I will do, I'll just return User created. User created. Okay. Here you can see that for every user we have a ID. We have ID, right? For every user we have ID. So this ID we are going to assign. Isn't it? This ID who will assign? We will, means our backend logic will assign this user. And from the front end we will get the name, the new user. Suppose Pratiksha is adding her, means so Pratiksha is signing up or registering her in the social network site. So Pratiksha will send the data from the front end. Okay. Or if she is using some Android application or iOS application, or if she is using some browser Python based application or HTML based application, some XYZ application she is using. So she will send all the data, she will fill her data in a form that this is my name, this is my date, this is my city, all those things. So city, all those things we are not means taking all the details, just few things I am taking here. Name and date I am taking. So she will send me the date and her birth date. My backend logic will assign the ID to her. Okay. So what I will do here? What is the ID you are seeing? Can you tell anyone? Can Pratiksha or Shrikant? One of you can tell me the logic. What could be the logic here? What should I add for getting the ID? For creating the ID, what should be the logic? This is a new user. This method is a new user. Right? Suppose in this user object, I have Pratiksha name and I have her birthday. Now, how I will create? I will get the ID. How I will assign the ID? What should be the logic? This is just a matter of logic we have to think of. Can anyone tell me? See, it could be wrong, but you should have that habit of speaking actually. Staying silence in the class will not going to help you. Skill Marathon has designed this training, has designed this interactive session for enhancing our knowledge base, also like exchange our ideas, right? So you should leverage this platform as much as possible. Taking the name, Srikant, can you tell me the logic? What can be the logic? Any idea you can throw. Just throw your idea. I just want to listen. Are you there, Srikant?
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Okay, just try to throw your idea. Like, see, this is a new user. I'm just repeating my question. This is a new user. Just imagine Pratiksha is sitting at the other end, okay, from the front end or from some mobile application or from some HTML based application, some web browser. She has filled the form that her name she has sent, her birth date she has sent. Okay. Now that form has been submitted to where? Has been submitted to our backend API. Okay. Her front end has called the REST API, which we are going to keep it in a, in here we will place that that API. I am yet to put that API here. Okay. But before to that, I have to create my business logic, because my API at the end, my API is calling the business logic. Here, my API is calling the business logic. So my functionality is adding her as user in my database. My database is this one. User list is my database. I need to add her in my user list. So I just added here, but I need to also assign one ID to her, right? So that she will be like if my database is assigning one ID to her, then she will be the registered user. So what should be the logic here? Here the 1, 2, 3, 4, some already 4 users are there. So what should be her ID now? In my database, I have 4 users. If some
Fifth,
ID I am going,
fifth
I will
one.
assign, then it will be 5th one. So what I should do? Very good. It should be 5th one. Then what should I do?
Like we can assign the next ID which is based on the last user in the list.
So what I will do, user list is the array list. So I will find out the size of it, right?
Yes.
I'll find out the size of it.
Size
Now
minus
size is
1,
size it will give me what? How much size? What is the size? 4.
4
It will give me 4. So the next ID will be +1.
plus 1.
Okay. So this is my ID. This is my ID. This is the ID logic. ID creation logic, isn't it?
Yes.
Pratiksha, do you have any other opinion or any other approach? Do you like to share with me? Or you want to go with this?
Yeah, this is fine.
This is fine. So as of now, let us go with this logic. Since we have a temporary database, means as of now, we don't have a database as in real time. So let us go with this logic. Okay. In later time, we'll see like how we can make it more better. Okay. Now in user DAO service, I have a method here which is going to add user. This method will work perfectly fine to add the user to my database. This is my data. Okay, but the API is not yet there. So when Pratiksha is calling the API, it has to be there, right? My backend should support it. So what I will do, I will have a perfect logic. I will have a perfect logic for creating the public, some method I should have in my controller. REST controller is for what? Again, in every class I am repeating, REST controller is for REST API. The class which is getting annotated as REST controller, that is that contains all your API. This is exposed to outside world. Okay, Spring will expose it to outside world. It is the responsibility of the Spring. Okay, we don't need to worry about on that. How it is exposing all those parts, we don't worry. So I will write as a developer, what I will do, I will write a method which should support my adding user functionality. So what I will do, public string add user or sign up user, anything. I'm naming it as add user. So the new user will come from the front end user, and what I will do, my user DAO service will add it. User DAO service create user. That one I will call, and just simply this user what I have got from front end, I'll just pass it to. Okay. Now this is returning string, so it will return string. So create user will do what? User created. If everything, this line goes fine, this line goes fine, this will create the user and return it to this method, the controller method. Here, and whatever string I'm getting, it will return. Okay. Now, do you think this method is sufficient? I am finding a small glitch in this method. This is not yet perfect. Can anyone identify that imperfection? What is that glitch? First line is what? First line is ID creation, right? This new user, does it contain the ID? Yes, no, anything? People, only 2 people are there. We can make it more interactive, right?
No,
You can
ma'am.
share your idea, no hesitation, don't hesitate at all. It can be wrong. Let it be wrong, no issue at all. But open up. Yes, what can we do?
That,
This user has ID or not? It doesn't have ID, right?
yes.
So whatever ID we have created, have we set that ID?
No.
No, that is a glitch. So what we will do? This user is having name. This
Say
user
that.
is having birth date, but ID we have to assign. So whatever ID we created from the user, this ID creation logic, that we will assign to the user object, and just we will add it to the user. And then in the user controller, you have, now this method is perfect. Okay. Now what we will do, we have the API now. In our controller, we have the API. But this API is not exposed to the outside world. Okay. So what we will do, we will have the required mapping. Okay, this is a REST controller. Of course, this is a REST controller, which is, this class is exposed, but the method yet to be exposed. So what we should do? We should do post mapping. Okay, whenever you are creating any data in your backend, then what should be your request mapping? The request method type should be post. Whenever you are trying to retrieve the information, for example, here I am trying to retrieve all the information, the whole database I am retrieving. So what my approach should be, my request method should be get map. Okay, if I want to just retrieve one info ID, one data, one user data, then I should send the ID in my path. So it is there in my previous video, so you can watch it if you have not. If you have missed the yesterday class, then you can watch it there. Okay. So for now, actually, just remember when you are adding the user, the request method is post method. Okay. Now this is also not enough. You have to give a path to it. So I am giving a path class user. Okay. Now the entire thing is ready here. I have a REST controller which is containing the API for creating user. Okay. I have my, in the service layer, I have the required logic to add the user. So what I will do, I will now start my server and I will test it. So I'll start my server. This is my tool actually. You people need to install one tool called as Postman. Okay. The tool name is Postman. Download this tool, Postman, or just remember. Yeah, I have installed already this Postman tool. I have installed. Okay. So let me see if my server started. Yes, my server is started. The Tomcat is running. So what I will do now, I'll try to, first I will check that how many users are there. See here, I'm again starting everything from the beginning. After installing Postman, what you are supposed to do, you can see here, this is Postman UI. Okay, just in the Google type install Postman. Install Postman, just type this first. Okay, and then go to this site and whichever version, means as per your laptop operating system, download the required compatible version and install it. Okay. Then after once it is installed, then what you will do, you will click this new button. Okay. Then click HTTP. Got it? Till now it is clear? See, let me retrieve all the users who all are there in the database now. I have, so what I have done, I am calling this API, get API. This controller, user controller, I have get API, right, which is giving me all the users. So here, from here, you need to choose get and just this service is running in my local host at 880 port, and the protocol, communication protocol is HTTP. The path you need to provide here /users and just click a send button. So I have got all the users here in the JSON format. You can see this is the first user, Usha, then second Minu, third Vishal, and fourth is Pradeep. So there are 4 users, which is exactly the same. If you go to the DAO service, Usha, Minu, Vishal, Pradeep. Okay. Now I want to create one more user here. So what should I do?
Post.
Good. Post, and what I will do? Okay, let me create one more new. Okay, just do one thing. After this, just add a plus button. Then post. Take post. Then communication protocol is HTTP localhost 8080. And what is the path here? Path here is REST controller, REST service path for creating user is what? This is the service. The service is post type. The path is users /users. So service is post type and /users. And then the body I need to keep, right? Because a new user I am creating. So from the form to data, I need the data from the front end in JSON format. Okay, because Spring Boot the default format is JSON. Okay, Spring Boot default format is JSON. I want my API is looking for a data in JSON format. Okay, like this. Let me do one thing. I'll just copy this part. My API is looking the data in which format? JSON format, right? So Pratiksha, I hope the name, the spelling is correct. Okay, and let me give her birthday. I know this is correct. There's some random data I have taken. Okay, so I have given name, I have given birthday. ID, it is not the front end responsibility. It is whose responsibility? Back end responsibility. That logic we have already created in our back end. The ID creation logic. Okay, now Pratiksha is going to be added here. Let me give some birthday. So this is when you are filling the form. Okay, when you are filling the form, whether it could be your mobile application or it could be your browser application, the form there is a field, right? Name field, birthday field, where you provide all the name. When you register yourself, okay, when you are registering some user, then you put all these data over there. So I am putting data. So as a Pratiksha user, Pratiksha has put her name, birthday, and then Pratiksha will click the submit button. But internally, your front end logic will call which API? It will call this API. Okay. Internally, your front end will call this API. And when the submit button will be called, then this API, the request, the data, whatever form data she has given in the form name field or birthday, everything, it will be converted in JSON format. Means backend will do that. Front end will do that. Okay. When you are the moment you are, suppose some when you are sign up in Facebook. When you are signing up in Facebook, okay, I have already signed in, so it is. If I will log out, right? And if I want to sign up, I just click on sign. Some form I want to see actually. Can anyone suggest me like some registration form in HTML? Okay, let me see. Like this. Some image I will go. Just go to some image. In this image, you can see this image, right? This one you can see registration form. Yes, no, nothing.
Yes, ma'am, I have sent you one link.
No, we are in a very small group. So you people can yeah, Facebook registration you have said. You are able to. So here you provide the first name, last name, birth date, all these things, gender, right? Mobile number, email, all those things, whatever you submit, right? This is your website. It can be in your, you can do the same registration process from Facebook app as well, right? Your app can be like Android version, Android based or iOS based. If it is iPhone or iPad iOS based, right? So the moment you click submit button, right? The moment you click submit button, internally what happened? Your front end will convert it into a JSON like this. Internally, it will convert a JSON like this, and this data it will send to this API. The service call will happen. The REST service call will happen. And see now what is going to happen. Let's see. So what we got? We got the response as user created. Okay. This is the header we got, response header. See the response status is 200 okay. Text plain, all these response header, this is the body we got. We got the body as text only user created. Okay. So our user created, is it really created or not? Let's see. We will try to retrieve all users and see what is the ID assigned to it. The ID assigned, okay, the name is null and null, okay. I understood actually what is the mistake I have done. See here. I have mapped this method as post mapping, everything I have done, but I should also tell to Spring that this is my request body. Okay, this user, the user which has come from the front end, right? This JSON data which came from my front end. If I will not tell that is my body, then this JSON will not get fit into this user object. It will not convert that JSON object. This is JSON object. The JSON object will not get converted into the Java object or the user object. So I have to tell to Spring that this is my request body. Now it should work. So this is also one of the important, very crucial annotation. Okay, now it is all done. So let me do one thing. I'll just user is created. Now in the gate, I will verify. Okay, it is coming fine. Pratiksha and her
Yes,
birthday,
ma'am.
everything got registered. Okay, so what should we do? We have to also means the JSON which we are sending from the front end, right? That we have to map. The JSON can be the mapping can be done Only if you are mentioning this as request call, then only it will work. Means what it will do when the see internally what will happen when you are calling slash user. Yesterday I told you that for every slash, this slash is mapped to your dispatcher servlet. Means Spring container is loading the dispatcher servlet. So every request is going to dispatcher servlet. Yesterday I was showing you even this front controller design. So every request will, whoever the use means when you are calling from the mobile app or from the browser app or from any XYZ app, all the request, all the path means if you are calling slash user or slash user XYZ, whatever you are calling, it will come to first front controller. That is the dispatcher servlet. Now dispatcher servlet knows that it has a REST controller, it has a user controller, and inside this user controller, since this is slash users, this user path and post mapping. Here from the request method, it knows post mapping, and dispatcher servlet has this information. When request will go to the dispatcher servlet, that means the service the machine where your service is running, right? Inside that machine, one dispatcher servlet is running. That machine has the idea like, okay, the request method is post and the path is slash user. So post mapping and slash user, it is here inside this REST controller. So this method will be invoked. This method it will be. Okay. And since we have also mentioned that this user is request body. So this is our request, right? This is our request. So in the request body, whatever has come in the request body, in the request body, the JSON data has come. So it knows that, okay, whatever is their request body, this JSON is in the request body. So it will take that request body and it will convert that to a user object. So I have to annotate this user as request body. Means Spring knows that this user will come from the request body. That means this is the request. This whole thing, the post mapping and this method call, everything is the request. So Spring knows that I have got certain thing in the request body. This request body I should map to user object. So it will map. Okay. Now object has created and this method also has been invoked. So inside this method, what is the logic we have written? We have written this, that we are calling the service object. On that service object, we are calling the method create user to where we are passing user. Now is the ID creation logic where ID will be set and we are adding the user and it is giving user created. But it is better that we will return the user only, right? If we will return the user only, that will be more better for us. So what we will do, we just return the user. I'm just returning the user. Okay. Because you remember that time we got a message user created, because that user created and means during the first time it was created with null everything, right? We could not verify that time. But when I called the other API for get all users, that time only I got to know that user has not been created properly, right? Then I had to add that REST controller and all the request body, everything I added, and I rectified that mistake. So what I am thinking that it is better to return the user. So now if I am returning the user, then what I will do here, I will return when this method is returning user. So here the return type should be user. Okay. Now let me restart again. And I'll see like what has been happening, what change I will get. Let's see. Okay. Now I will add this user. What is the result I got here? I'm not just getting user created. I'm getting the user which created. So Pratiksha got created with ID 5. So this is my response body. Below one is my response, isn't it? Above one is the above part. This is my request, and below part is my response. So here the response code is 200. Okay, and this is the response header, and this is the response body. Okay, then one more user also I will add, Srikant. Srikant, your spelling might not be correct, so please excuse for that. So
Yes,
Srikant,
ma'am.
and just I'm adding some date. Okay, and let me add this user. So Srikant also got added. So now I am having 6 users. Srikant got added, and the user, the response, automatically the response it is giving me in JSON format, right? So the request by default Spring, what it will do, we have to give the request in JSON format. Spring will convert that JSON data into Java data, Java object. Okay. So automatically it is me. Okay, that is automatically converting into JSON. Yes, JSON is automatically converted into your Java object, which is called as deserialization and serialization. This is called serialization and deserialization. Very important Spring Boot question, so that you can go through. Okay. So what is request body? What is response body? In previous case, what we were doing, see here, the previous case, we were mentioning it as response body also like this. But now we don't need to mention. By default, means previously when in our past time, we were when we were designing the API, right? When we were coding for the API like this, we were mentioning it as response body, but we don't need to do that. By default, Spring is taking care of. By default, but here you have to give request body. So JSON data, what it is coming in the request, it will convert it into Java object, and whatever object we are sending, by default that will convert it into JSON object. So first what is happening? JSON to Java. JSON to Java, because of JSON to Java conversion is happening because of this request body. Again, the object which we are returning, this object which we are returning, that is getting converted into JSON format by the Spring framework itself. Okay, by the Spring framework itself, and this is a default mechanism. Okay, that the response body automatically getting converted into JSON. We don't need to do anything explicit. Okay, so this is actually happening. So what I would like you guys to do, that you take care of like coding from now onwards, means do also personal services on your own. Okay, at least if you could not spend time during the weekdays, spend time in your weekend. See the session. Definitely, even though one person is there, I am going to make the session. Okay, I am going to conduct the session, and this is how the session will also get over after some time. But the means the way like you are getting it uh, during our interactive session, uh, you are also having enough, scope to ask question here, so that you may not get that you definitely not get, you will not get it in the recording when you will watch the recording, right? So even though you have missed few classes, I will just suggest you go through the recording and come prepared with in the next class. Okay, and try to attend the session physically. That is very important. Okay, and every time have question, so that you can check with me, we can discuss, and you can have more clarity. So the kind of means opportunity you people are getting, it is really very nice actually. In our time, we were not having this much of responsibility, means this much of learning scope. Okay, it was our responsibility to learn everything. Okay, so and it was very time consuming as well. Like we were going through n number of documents and number of sites and doing all the research by ourselves. Okay, there was no one to like help us. But here nowadays enough scope is there, but unfortunately, uh, what I'm seeing is that people are not spending time. Okay, not leveraging the session the way it should. So I will again suggest you guys to spend your weekend time at least, so that in completing the assignment, okay, in going through the recorded session, so that you can get maximum benefit, and going forward try to attend the session physically. Okay, and if
Ma'am,
you have any issue with the timing, let us know. Okay, we have a group over there, so there you can ping and tell us that if you want the session timing from 8 to 9 also, we are fine. Still marathon team is actually, they are very flexible, and they can definitely help you. So do let us know, like if your timing is an issue, then that can be addressed. Okay. Yes, someone was telling something.
ma'am, how like serialization works, Jason?
Yes, serialization and deserialization. See, the Java object, when the JSON request body I was showing, right? This JSON request body, it is
Yes,
getting
yes, ma'am.
converted into this is request. The above part of the postman is request. You know that this one is request, right? This is the request body.
Yes, ma'am.
Above part is the request body. I just click the send button, right? So I call the API. So my request has gone to localhost 8080 port, right? At 8080 port, my REST API is running, right? At this server, my localhost server at 8080 port, my Tomcat server is running here, isn't it? This
Yes, ma'am.
Tomcat server is running. Now in this Tomcat server, my Spring Boot engine is there, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So this Spring Boot engine is capable enough to take the request on this HTTP. So request has gone. Request has gone to Spring Boot. Till slash it has gone. So once this slash has come, your Spring Boot engine will do what? It will delegate the request to the dispatcher servlet. Yesterday I was showing this. This is the here the front controller is the dispatcher servlet. Here I was even showing in the log that there is a dispatcher servlet I was showing here in the log. Okay, you can go through the previous session. Dispatcher servlet I was showing in the log. Okay, so what will happen? Your Spring Boot engine will delegate that request to dispatcher servlet. Dispatcher servlet knows that what all REST controller it has. So dispatcher servlet will do what? It will invoke this controller. It has dispatcher servlet has already means it has scanned everything. Okay. It the moment Tomcat server starts, the moment it will instantiate the Spring Boot container. Spring Boot container will instantiate the dispatcher servlet, and dispatcher servlet will do what? It will do the scanning of everything, and all the controller name it will keep it with it. Okay, all the controller name it will register in the dispatcher servlet. So it knows that okay, I am having my now it has user controller information is with dispatcher servlet. In this user controller, what all path is there, it knows. So now the request has gone for what? For slash user. This is the request path. So slash user is a post mapping and request method is post. So what it will do? Dispatcher servlet will instantiate. It will invoke this method. The request will go to this method. Okay. Now dispatcher servlet will also read the request body. This is the request body, right? This is the request body. Request body is in which format? JSON format. By default, Spring Boot will understand the JSON format. Okay. So now this JSON, the request body JSON data, what it will do? It will change it. Since I have marked this as user request body, so JSON data will just convert it into user. See, here user has what? User has name. So it has also key as name. So this key has to be similar. Name, birthday, all these thing has to be similar. So
Okay.
see, whatever I have given here, same thing you have to give here. Means your whoever is calling your API, they should know what data they should send, how they should send. They should know the contract. This is called as contract. Okay. This request means your client cannot send something, means some random data they cannot send. They should send the request in a proper standard format. This is the contract. So they have sent it. Your postman is my client now. So it has sent name and birthday. So the JSON data, it got converted into user object. Okay, because of this annotation, request body annotation. So here this deserialization occurred. Okay, your JSON object got converted into Java object. So this is your serialization. This is your serialization. And then again, your user object got created. Here user object got created. New user got created. So this, and it returned user. Now JSON again, the Spring Boot will again do what? Your Spring Boot has a responsibility to change this user into JSON format. That means this response body, what we are seeing here, it will again change like this. Okay, it will change into this format. And this is your deserialization. It got changed. And now serialization, deserialization is occurring by whom? It is getting occurred by your Spring Boot container. Spring engine will do everything. The Spring Boot engine will do everything by your dispatcher servlet. Okay. So this changing of your JSON data to Java data or Java object will change into JSON data. That is only serialization, deserialization. Everything will be done by your Spring Boot container. How it will be done, means all these things, that detailed thing you need not to know. Just it is done by the Spring. Okay. This much you should know. And this is only going to be asked. Like what is serialization? What is deserialization? You should tell that. Like when the request body JSON data, generally in Spring, the request body is in JSON data that gets converted into request body Java object. Okay. And when the response Java object, the responded Java object, here the response what we got, the response, this is the response, the return is the response. So the responded Java object, whatever response it will give, that will be converted into again JSON data. That is only serialization and deserialization. And all these JSON conversion, JSON from Java or Java to JSON, it is done by the Spring Boot engine. That you have to answer. Okay. I think it is clear, right, Srikant?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
So please spend time during your weekend and come with the preparation. Okay.
Ma'am,
If you have any question, we can discuss on Monday.
yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am,
Yeah. Go ahead. Huh? Yes, with that.
ma'am, why use a Tomcat server only, not Jetty and other server?
Yes, you can. We can use Jetty, but Tomcat has few added feature. I will tell you actually. It is very much configurable. Okay. Tomcat is more configurable, and why in that comparison we will discuss. Okay. That is
Okay, ma'am.
also in my to-do list. Next week we will discuss. You can have Jetty. Okay. So I will tell you like how you can convert from Tomcat to Jetty. That configuration also I will tell. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
And how to debug even in your your code in production. When suppose some issue has occurred, how to debug that also I will tell you. But be prepared, spend time in your learning, and see, definitely this 30-day or 40-day session will get over. very soon. Okay, after this, this kind of opportunity very rarely comes. Okay, so just try to utilize. That is what I can suggest. Okay, now rest is on you guys. Okay, then that's all from my end for today.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah,
Yeah,
happy weekend. Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye.
ma'am.
Bye.
Hi all. Actually, you should join on everyday basis, right? Hello. Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
Subhasri, you
Yes.
are audible.
Yes,
Go ahead.
yes. Maybe today is holiday, so that we can see the less participation for today's. But try to maintain and to join on everyday basis, right? Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay, so as Subha said, take it seriously. Okay, just let your friend knows. Like if you have few other participants as your friends, so just let them also understand. Okay, the means importance of attending the session in live. At recorded session may not be that helpful. You cannot get that interactive mode there. So just try to leverage as much as you can. And just repeating one more time, this is a very means nice opportunity, in fact, golden opportunity for you guys to learn Spring Boot microservice. Microservice means if you are trying to learn just without knowing Spring Boot, that is of also know you. Then microservice is something you can get to know from the real time. But Skill Marathon has created a platform where you can get to know how microservices are designed. That is a very rare opportunity actually. So please extend this message to everyone, and the maximum participants actually it motivates us also as a team, like who all are working means from the skill marathon side, right? It motivates us also so that we can also put more effort. Okay, thank you for today and good night. Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Bye.
thank you, ma'am.